Hello to all my listeners. This is Sushri, your host, is back with another engaging topic. So let's start. Feminism, the topic of today's, as you can see it in the title bar. So let's start with the dictionary meaning of feminism first. And it says the advocacy of women's rights on the ground of the equality of the sexes. In simple terms, we can say that it is the belief that women and men should have equal rights and opportunities. Mind you, they both point out to one fact, that is equality. Feminism means equality, no more, no less. If today I have brought you this topic, then I must have some motive. That's what you must have been thinking right now. Well, yes, I do have a motive, and that is to find you to your own self, the part that lies within you, and you don't actually know it. And I'll let you know why that's so. I'm asking this loud and clear. Are you a feminist? It's complicated, right? Now I'll tell you the situations and scenarios. If you are a female, then yes, definitely you are a feminist, because only those can feel the pain of one being equal who are born into it. Just that simple. If you are a man, then it's yes or no. Depends basically, because if you are a man in public and had to answer the same question, then how many answers will change? I also don't know. Image is something everyone wants to have in a positive sense, of course. And for that, we can betray ourselves also. Okay, I'm not going to talk about lies or truth because it's boring and never-ending conversations. No point talking about it. It's just that straight answer. Are you a feminist or not? Yes or no? But it's been complicated over the years, right? And you know now why it is so. Let me shape it a bit differently, and then it might not seem that straight. In our society, feminism means more power to the females of the nation, and it also means surpassing men in the country, and it also means taking charge on our own hands, which is definitely not acceptable. And to whom it's not acceptable? I think it's pretty clear. Yes, I am a feminist, and I'm clear about it. What we are demanding is not culture-based, religion-based, or caste-based change, and it's even not a change. Equality is our right, is the right of every person. Then why we, the females of the nation, are suffering to achieve it despite of some X number of protests or Y number of movements? This must be having some psychology that we inherit since we are born, because for a long duration of time, women were not considered as equal citizens, where they often face the discrimination, torture, and huge extent of racism under men domination, and to top up with that, wicked rules. There was an era where women were living an unfair and unequal life, where they were kept away from any social, economical, and political activities, and their job was confined to be a good housewife who takes care of their home and children. At the meantime, men controlled all the fields which are considered the symbol of power, making the status of women weaker in the society. We have to look from the start, the day we are born, because that's where I think the problem lies. So this is like as follows. When a boy is born, we address them as Raja Betas, and when a girl is born, we simply teach them a princess who needs a prince or waiting for it. In a more simple language, we can say Paraya Dhan, those who would get married and go to their husband's house. Well, I have no intention to start this conversation if a woman need a man or not. Let's just do it some other day. I have not started this conversation about feminism to support females, rather to support equality. I am clear about this and I'm clearing it out to you all. Moving on, like maximum of house would raise their girl child differently and boy child differently. They set their mindsets differently from the very beginning. Like, if you are a boy, then you must be independent. And here, independence is directly proportional to the financial independence. Yes, if you are a man, then they should earn because the house expenses are totally on them. Because of this, they take the front row. Do you think so? When a girl is raised, they aren't into any pressure of earning a livelihood for themselves or making their identity. Because they are brought up in a way like even if they can't, then also it's fine because their parents would be there to take care. But they would not be taught this fact that what they would be sacrificing for that. Actually, we are taught to sacrifice and tolerate because तुम तो औरत हो ना और औरत को तो सहना ही पड़ता है. Going back to the question, is this the only earning capacity or the expenses that gives them the front row? Well, it's not. It's the society that gives them that power. Here, the society means you, me, and all of us. When a girl starts to go against the norms, she just gets abandoned by the society, family, and all. Because there are certain rules meant to be followed, as the society will tell you, where we, females, don't exist till there's this male. As males are appointed to protect females because they have this muscle power. Well, I'm not saying this is what they mean. A girl should have morals like we have been taught. Talking in a light voice with chin down, dress according to the society, speak less and try to be invisible. Just like that. Just adding, after the disrobing of Draupadi, why Pandavas plead for Draupadi's padron? The answer was that because she was the only one who could protect their souls. I don't know how many of those kinds of morals are taken by the society here, because I am not seeing any. I just want to ask all those women out there who have taught their girls like this, why? Why didn't you teach her to compete with your son? After all, women are humans. They have a mind which they wanted to apply in various fields to stand up for themselves. They had wishes as well as they have equal stake in power which a man enjoys. And these ambitions led women of all society to come up from suffering and misery to find ways to improve their lives and change their position in this world. They tried joint efforts, aspirations and dreams to form up a universal idea that would stand against the patriarchy and speak for the justice of the woman in the society, which slowly led to the appearance of feminism. I will like to underline this word patriarchy here. Again, I would say this. We aren't being taught to compete with our brother or husband or men around us. Why? I'm talking about this era only. This still exists today. Because of which there is a revolt. There has to be. I mean, when your job is fixed, even when you aren't born, then what more do you expect than a revolt? Revolt because you are on the other side of the majority, and the majority aren't those people or those males who want to live on the power, but also those who believe females are designed to do specific job and should not try to come out of it or try to be independent. If you agree to this, then you are called as feminazi by the society. Feminazi are those feminists who are out for female domination rather than gender equality. And believe me, if you are a feminist and you support feminism in general, then you are a feminazi. Obviously, you are a feminazi because they need a slang to oppose you, right? Believe me, is just a slang used by the other part of the society, if you would. Now we must bring in some popular arguments opposing us, like the law system, which is in too much favor of us and is kind of harassment for the men in our society. They say we have laws that support women in everything, and at last a man has to pay the price. I just want to ask them, did we get all of this in a golden platter? Women in our country did get all of these rights without fighting or without going under any struggle. We didn't get a single right without fighting or protesting. Behind all the well-established law that we have today, there have been many Wonder Women who fought their life to ensure that nobody else suffers. In fact, women didn't have right to education too, because this society didn't believe that that was necessary. So let's see how we got what we are enjoying today. First is the right to education. The woman who understood the necessity of education for females and started a school for women is Savitri Bai. Yes, it was her and her husband's initiation to educate females in India. She is one of the heroes who tried to educate us and suffered to fight for that right. The one woman who stood tall for our education and the one woman to whom we owe this education is Savitri Bai. Next is the right to vote. The movement started by American women to get right to vote, and they got it finally in 19th century after suffering for many years. Indian women thankfully didn't suffer for this right, at least because of the father of the constitution we had. We owe this to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He made sure that we would not suffer the same way as the other countries' women did. So he is our another hero. The other side of the society always questions all the rights or laws we have related to harassment, rape, stalking or image destruction publicly. Is too biased. I'll tell you how we got these biased laws. The anti-dowry law. The famous case of Tarvinder Kaur, who was burned alive for dowry by her in-laws, and this was when it all started. Protests, not only for this woman but for many more that have been suffering that time. I would like to add here, there have been many protests for women by women to add value to the world of women. Back to the issue. That year, there was more than 300 cases of women who got killed by their in-laws for dowry. There were many more cases that were not reported even. Finally, after sacrificing all those lives in 1961, we got this law. After sacrificing all those daughters of the nation. This is easy, right? This must be easy. This has to be easy. I'll tell you what this dowry system brought to the society, because only after that it may not seem you that easy. Dowry system led to the crimes like girl child abortion and domestic violence. It became more and more difficult for women to survive under these conditions, and they weren't even treated as humans at all. Moving on, we always had a rape law in our country, in case you think we didn't. But that law wasn't specific, effective, elaborated, and the crimes that happened that time needed more specific laws and punishments. Likewise, we got this law for prevention of sexual harassment at workplace because of this woman, Bhavri Devi. Let's look at Bhavri Devi's struggle story. A Dalit social worker, and her job was to stop child marriages. The day she got raped on duty, she was there at the location doing her job, that is stopping a child marriage, and people there got angry upon her work, beat her husband up and raped her in turns. Yes, she was gang raped by 5 men. She didn't stop there. a back off, but fought. Fought for all of us. Here, her case was taken up by some NGOs, and one of which was Vishakha helping her way out. But in the struggle, she was the flambeau. She fought for the right, for the law, so that nobody else suffers like she did. That's how we got this law. Prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. Like in the Lakshmi's case, the victim of acid attack fought against the sale of acids, and because of her perseverance, we got the strict law against acid attackers and the sale of acids. The thing is, we think everything is going well because we haven't seen it. And actually, it's true. The biased thing is, you will not notice till you feel the same. And you feel it after it hurts you badly. The meaning is, we are surrounded by educated girls, studying with us, competing with us. So we think it's not a big deal, but what we are seeing is just a very small part of it. There are many girls who are still deprived of basic education, and not only that, but also facing many crimes. We daily have this news of a girl being raped, burned alive, harassed by so and so. So, where is this stopping? One answer I have is feminism, equality, and not taking one side and saying give them all the power, but just equality. You can now argue upon reservation they have been given. Let's from the beginning then. The sex ratio of our country. I don't need to repeat it for sure. Then why the government decided to give them the reservation? Is because they were not the majority and also was overpowered by the majority, and they were unable to take stand for themselves. In the education stream, they now have women reservation because government wanted to encourage women education, and is just a step to that. Now you may argue that it's unfair. Well, it's unfair. Yes, you are correct, it's unfair. But just answer this question. All the issues or problems a girl faces since she is born different to a boy, that is not unfair. Is that not unfair? A boy is encouraged to study to earn a livelihood where a girl isn't. Is that not unfair? Let's forget all this. Even if she doesn't face all these hardships, still, what she goes through in this country to even complete her studies, only she knows. So let's better not talk about this unfair or fair thing, because there are many unfair things that happen since a gender bonds. Taking this as an example, walking in a lone street at night, will a man turn around and see if someone is behind him? I think this example explains all. बस एक और चीज, एक और, जो शायद आपको समझ आ जाए कि क्यों इक्वालिटी ही। आप क्या पसंद करोगे, हिस्सेदारी या बराबरी? आपका जवाब ही हमारी फेमिनिज्म है। Demanding equality and suffering to get it, because equality, the term itself, is offending to the saviors of this motherland. To me, it means equal opportunity to stand on the same platform, equal opportunity to choose what we want to choose, irrespective of the gender. Equality also means cutting down the crimes against women, which are more gender-based. When you give them equality, because it's not a law that you can charge on the people to give or be implemented, it's just the sense of belief that she is equal to me, and what all I am getting, she should get to achieve the same. That feeling among us is necessary to reduce these crimes and strengthen one section, that is the Ablanari section of our country, to strong women. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to come up with feminist ideas and help more of those people deprived of it. Our means, all of us. Feminism can only be achieved by our cooperation. If you are a woman living on own, encourage more around you. Because you also being there is something that can never pull you down. You are independent, and independence is the requirement of every individual. Because in today's life, it's only you who can help yourself. Like I said in the first episode, be at your own service. That's all. Let's wrap this episode here. Stay tuned to Asira for daily updates. I'm Sushri, your host, signing off.